see with me. Well, that didn't happen in life. Okay? So, and when I think of intellectual geniuses, I think of somebody in a little room someplace with a light bulb that all of a sudden gets a brilliant idea and everybody else is pushed forward into that idea and no one has any say. And I resent that deeply. Now, as a child, 5 and 6 years old, I went to the library twice a week. And at 7 and 8 years old, I was taking home 4 books on a Tuesday, reading them, taking them back on Saturday, finished with the other 4 and taking the 4 new ones on Saturday. I don't think that the numbers that you've shown on that board, on the screen there, as long as there are 10 kids in Williamsburg that use that library, keep the damn library open. Thank you. Because every child, I have 2 little grandchildren, I'll show you pictures of them. 2 little grandchildren, and they're 2 years old. Their vocabulary is tremendous because they have books from stem to stern. Hardcover books, softcover books, any kind of cover book you want. And they will go to libraries when they're older. And so for people, and I'm sorry if I'm insulting or I seem overbearing or whatever, but I really truly think that you should revisit and don't look at the initials that you've shown me up there. That doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. Go ahead and do your job and keep the access to the library, because there are children that their parents work, they get home at 6:30, the child has to do the homework, the parent has to do the dishes, get the meal, get ready for the next day of work, and they don't have time to come out here, and time is an issue. So, like Mrs. Barr was saying, why not have a revenue neutral situation? Just off the top of my head, I wish you'd stayed. If there isn't a thing with Canadian Tire, use that, put something else in there. Rethink this situation. Because as long as there's one child, or 10 or 15, that are going to use that library, keep it open. And we shouldn't be fantasizing and saying, well, this has to be perfect, a perfect situation. Find the money. There's money for other things. Find the money to keep that little library open for the people that need it. That's all I have to say.
Children don't care how much they're going to spend this $3 million, whatever it is, on the library. Kids don't care about that. They care about the experience of coming, using their card with the little yellow envelope to take books out. And your statistics, and you show Kempville. Kempville, what's the population of Kempville compared to here? Of course, they grow all the time. We don't have Walmart. Are we ever going to get one? Doubt it. You know, Iroquois, they still have a library and they have nothing going in there. Same with Williamsburg. We only have a few things. You're depriving us. That's all you're doing. We pay our taxes. We pay your salary, and we get crap. That's exactly what it is. You're taking away from the future. What about the kids now that can't read? Do you think that the ones that have problems reading, do you think that in Williamsburg, do you think that their parents are going to drive them out here to get a book? Probably not. Probably not. You guys just worry about yourselves. I'm sorry, it's rude of me to say, but you're not thinking of everyone else.
When my family comes to the library, there's 5 of us, and we use one library card because I don't want to lose every single library card that was there. I know this is set up in Williamsburg meeting too, but that will not show up in your statistics. So it'll look like.
I have to admit, that was one of the first things that came to my mind is, they should have 5 cards.
Yeah, but
yes. There's a lot of kids.
They're going to lose them. So I have enough stuff to keep track of in my household. I know they, it would show great numbers, but yeah, that's all I have to say because it's not going to be accurate. My husband uses my card because his is lost. So, and he's a grown adult. Things get lost.
I know
so
exactly what you mean.
That's
I have to admit, the librarian and we go, oh,
Your stats also don't show the people who use the computers, they don't necessarily borrow books every time they go in, but they use the computer. Not all of us have access to the internet and 300 channels on TV.
I don't have a computer. I don't have the internet in my house. Does that make me poor? Maybe. But my husband is 65% disabled due to a car accident. I work 60 hours a week just to try to pay so my kids can have a home. You know, I you know what? I can't afford it. Kudos to the people that have a house phone. I just got one. Even in Morrisburg, there's people now with young children that don't have a house phone. That don't. They come to the library here to rent movies because they can't afford satellite. So when you guys go home at night, watch your satellite, you know, sit back in your nice cozy chairs and, you know, Google stuff on your nice laptops. Think about the people that are actually using books to read because they can't enjoy the luxuries. And people that know me know that I didn't grow up rich. You know?
That's like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on,
Yeah.
and some people don't realize.
I thought I was just depriving my children.
No.
No, there's lots of kids out there. So stop taking it away from them. My vote's
I have a question. You're saying that this new library that you want to put in town is smaller than this one?
Yes.
How much smaller than this one?
This one is, if I'm not mistaken,
Half of this? Could we go in
This
half?
is, I think, 30, 34, 36.
39.
39?
39 what?
95 square feet.
No, could you just kind of tell me, would it be half of
It would
this
be
library?
half. It would
So
be
you're
half.
taking a smaller place than this. You're going to amalgamate two libraries into this smaller place. Never mind the bathrooms and the toilets. We know that's down the hall. That's no problem. But my intelligence tells me, if you want to spend money, if you want to really do something brave and wonderful, lower the ceilings, put some nice lights in here, go to IKEA, get some great furniture. There's all kinds of multiple ways that you can make this outstanding. Outstanding. Vamp it up. How hard would that be?
We do not have control over that.
Who has control?
Not the library.
Who?
We are the tenant.
Who
We
has-
are the tenant.
Of?
This space.
And are you not going to be a tenant in the other place?
Yes.
So what's the difference?
If I had my way, that new space would be twice as large as it's going to be. But
But you have a large space here. It is huge.
I think it's already designated for another purpose. But that's not for me to speak on. That's not for me to speak on.
Bowl me over. There we go. Round the block again. It's already done. I'm on my way. I'm like the other lady. Sorry. Bizarre.
Karen, can I ask a question?
Sure.
And it was an article in the Sun yesterday about the Ottawa Public Library. And
I'm sorry, I
the
did not
board,
see it.
well, that's okay. The board was upset because their statistics had dropped by 11%. Jan Harder was very concerned. The thing is, and the reason I'm bringing it up, is they don't just count circulation and public access, they count use. So every bod that shows up in the doorway is counted. Everyone who asks a question is counted. Their numbers were, I have the article here, I think it was 32 million for last year. It was just over 32 million, and it's down 11 point something %. And I'm wondering why we couldn't do the same thing. Because our statistics, you know, you said that there were 85 active patrons in Williamsburg.
That was per month.
Or
That
is
was
for what month? January?
It's an average each month.
Okay, on average,
Yes.
it's 85.
Yes, some months it was
But
80,
then we're not
some
count-
months it was 90.
We're not counting the people that are on the computers, we're not counting the people that are, and is it possible?
We are
to do that?
counting.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Okay, and the ones that if fax is set off and,
The fax, until very recently, the only way we kept track of the fax was by the revenue that we were
bringing in.
bringing in, but I mean, we got rid of that.
Well, do you have, like, I didn't check it today, but I noticed that there's only like January and
Yes,
February.
I apologize, we've been
Yeah,
wiggling around with staff and
Yeah.
responsibilities
So much-
and
so
what, and
much-
making preparations
For
for
this.
this meeting.
my real question is this, why can't we use this furniture? It's here, what's wrong
We
with
are
it?
going to be using a great deal of it. Some of the shelving, in fact, shelving is 40 years old, over 40 years old.
Dan?
And it is being reused. We have other branches that do not
So it's-
even have
This,
this good shelving. So we are reusing it. We also have a storage room at the back of this space here that is full of broken shelving. Part of our cleaning up, weeding, whatnot, is we have to go through that and make some decisions as well. What we keep, what we don't keep, what's warped, what doesn't have the pins left anymore, we're in the process of doing all that.
so we
we're
can't,
very,
what you're saying is we can't save money by using this furniture in the new building because it's gonna be used elsewhere.
well, some is going to be used, some is going to be used in the new branch, some of Williamsburg's furniture is going to be used in the new branch, but the part of it is we are going to be having to, just like going through, deselecting our collections, we're going to be deselecting some of our things, and some of these are held together really by a mission song.
Internet connections, you're gonna enhance the service, so how many will there be in the new library? And how many terminals?
There will be 8 terminals.
How many are there here now?
8.
How many in Williamsburg?
2.
So you're consolidating, but staying at 8. So
8.
that's not enhancing,
No,
that's maintaining.
that's maintaining. We are also including more areas for laptop.
So
And we will have laptops.
I still don't understand what's being enhanced, because you keep throwing the word enhanced around, but I don't hear it except double staffing and that's
Longer hours,
Well,
better,
not
newer
15 more.
programming.
There's 15 hours in Williamsburg now. You're only adding, what, 5 or 6 hours?
Yes. This person at the desk right now, she works alone. Beverly in Williamsburg works alone.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is for these people not to be left working alone.
No, I understand that, but you're not enhancing the hours that much.
Well, there's only one way to get people working together. By far our biggest budgetary expense is staffing. If we're going to improve the staffing engagement and their safety and their ability to implement new services and programming initiatives, et cetera, they've got to have some time to do that. And literally, they do not have any time to do an adequate job at that now, at all. And there's no opportunity for a branch support clerk to engage with her colleague and share new ideas or share, how to search a new database or anything like that when she's left working alone, expected to run the circulation desk and shelf and do the pick list for people who've made requests from other branches, et cetera. It's not going to be 50 hours, but we are trying very hard to increase the hours here, but do it strategically so that we have times where the staff can work together, can learn together, can engage together, and can improve the services they offer to the public.
So just to recap, enhanced services to the library does not mean more terminals, it does not mean more books, because we don't have enough room to house the collection
remember the picture I showed you? They had 11,290 items in that branch that was smaller than what our new branch is going to
So you're
be.
going to be able to house everything that's in here along with what's in Williamsburg.
We will not be able to house, as I say, the land records.
Right.
And we will have to make, we will probably have to spread out some of our Canadiana collection, for all of the library system, all 18 branches are currently our Canadiana collection is housed here, because this is our biggest branch.
Right. But
Physical-
we're going
physical
smaller.
space.
So
So some of our Canadiana collection will have to get distributed out to other branches. So when you get that out, when you take the land records out, and when we've, really figured out our configuration for our shelving and furnishings and whatnot.
But it will definitely be less, because you obviously don't have the space. You can't have the same volume.
I
You just
don't
said
think
yourself Canadiana won't be able to.
Well, I don't know for sure. I mean, some of these things you don't know exactly what you're getting until you get in, but I'm quite certain we'll be able to house almost all of what we have here, plus almost all of what we have there, with the one exception of the Canadian collection and the archives.
I just,
Or not the archives,
saying
the land records.
enhance, and I see it as less. If you're consolidating, I wouldn't expect 10 terminals. I would have expected minimum the same level of books. So the only thing I'm seeing enhanced is staffing.
When we get closer, we haven't even stepped into the space yet. We don't know. We've received a piece of paper, a blueprint to look at. We've met with the architect twice. And as we get closer, maybe we will find that we have room for 12 computer stations. Maybe we will find we have room for 8 computer stations and 4 laptop
You're saying
chairs.
enhanced, and I'm saying, what is that based on? Because it's your word, enhanced. So I'm just trying to understand what you're basing that on. You clearly don't know yet.
Well, I would like to think, just in being able to provide double staffing, safer, more engaged staff, services, longer hours of service, air conditioning, accessible ways of getting in and moving around in the library. I would like to think that those are enhancements.
I have them in Williamsburg. I have those things in Williamsburg, so.
Right now, I know you don't have more than one staff person working at a time.
No,
But the
Northern-
statistics
Northern-
say that we don't
Northern
need
daytime.
to.
But we're happy with that. It works for us.
Sorry.
Just a couple of basic questions, I guess. From an operational perspective, the actual cost of running the library in Williamsburg. There was some ballpark figures kicked around type of thing, but obviously it's a budgetary number. And I mean basically to the rent, the lighting, the heating, staffing,
Insurance and staffing.
that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There was an annual cost
Yep.
put to that, and if we could just ballpark it.
It's over $50,000.
Okay. And whatever it was that, again, budgetary, that's being diverted to the new location that's being fixed up.
Well, we won't be paying for internet or a phone line. We won't be paying for insurance on the library contents.
Okay, but it's going to be a rental space, right? That's my understanding. You're a tenant
Yes.
in the new.
Yes.
Who's footing the costs for the fit-up costs to accommodate your requirements? Fit-up costs.
The town, best I can understand, I'm not quite sure I fully understand your
Well, a
question.
fit-up cost is normally when a tenant comes into
Yes.
an area.
Yes.
He has specific requirements with regards to lighting, access, could be carpeting, painting, could be internet, could be wire structuring the building, and this is usually a cost that's absorbed by the tenant.
Some, what you mentioned, we absorb. Most of what you mentioned is done by the township.
All
Okay.
18 branches are, the facilities are provided by the township.
Correct. Okay.
We do pay, we pay for the collections and the staffing and the phone line and the internet lines and the insurance In one branch, we actually pay the heating, which is quite exorbitant. We also pay for, in that same branch, we also pay for snow removal. Other than that one branch, and that's a bit of an anomaly, but for all intents and purposes, the landlord, being the townships and whatever area, they pay for, we pay for security as well, and we pay for staffing.
These are all operational costs.
These are operational costs that we pay for.
I was
Our
earmarked.
landlords pay for our electricity, and they pay for snow removal, and they pay for the carpeting, and if we wanted to get the whole branch painted or whatever, we would negotiate with the landlord and see if they would foot the bill for the cost of painting.
That'd be pretty determined in regards to your lease, I guess. So I guess my point, and it's ambiguous, and I know it's fairly complex in nature, but what would it cost to stage the new location, I guess is what I'm getting at. The cost associated to the library.
Well, it would be at least $50,000, at least.
How much?
At least $50,000. That's if we had a land, our landlord could provide us with.
They wouldn't even put a dent in it. And that's my background is construction engineering.
That's just.
I know what you're up against, I think. I also understand, I guess, with regards to the library and the ideology of the 21st century, that the concept of a library might seem archaic for a lot of people, but it's a resource. And I guess you've got a readership base in Williamsburg. I understand it's a small one, but I think you're going to lose it. It's small and active. And really, when I look at the numbers that were thrown out, we're looking at South D&G as a whole, the 11% or 11.5%, you would like to increase it to closer to 25. I was wondering the correlation between the amount of people in Williamsburg and what the readership was there compared to Morrisburg or any other area that's going to be able to service this. And that wasn't reflective, I guess. Because I see where that one is used a great deal. I see where it's not properly reported. I'm just afraid you're really going to lose that leadership base. And it's time will tell, and then it'll be too late. So I realize the resources, the financial ones, have been reallocated. Obviously, you've got a budget. You have to go forth type of thing. So from the board's perspective, there probably isn't anything allocated towards Williamsburg at this time. It would have to be renegotiated in regards to any support or funding. I know the outreach programs, the drop boxes, this type of thing, but it's minimal. It's not $50,000 worth, I guess is what I'm saying. Those resources have been relocated. And
will be as of August 1st.
You know, that's correct. So at this time, there is nothing that's earmarked in regards to, it would all have to be renegotiated, even if they found a vacant room to accommodate their present location. From an organizational perspective, you wouldn't be able to entertain it at this time. Am I correct in saying that, or?
Based on the decision of the board,
Yes. So that's the bottom line, really. I mean, I understand what you're saying with regards to the new facility and what it has to offer. But as a resident of Williamsburg, it's being offered to South Dundas due to the amalgamation and stuff like that. And from people's mindsets, it's Morrisburg the benefits.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Kempville, I've seen Kempville grow from day one because I'm an Ottawa resident formerly, and that's basically what the 416 does. And now you got box stores on top of box stores, and they can't keep up with the amount of people that are going in there. And that's how North Dundas benefited, because you couldn't go east or west or across the river. So now people have become more and more migrating towards the south. And it's to their benefit. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just seeing Williamsburg as becoming a suburb of Morrisburg, where people, if they're lucky, will possibly live there. But it'll be in transient kind of thing, because there will be no resources, unfortunately. They might as well close the fire department too, other than the fact the insurance company really pushes for that. But
Don't give them any idea.
no, it's there. It's reality. So it's and that's the mindset. I know you're trying to stay alive. You're trying to offer the best service that you can, but there is a cost, I guess, and you're in the business of it. I wish you luck.
I appreciate your at the same, actually.
Well, I don't see it.
Lots to think about. And our boards.
Yeah, because you got a battle on your hands. It's just to stay alive. So, but unfortunately, we're going to continue on because we would like to hold on to that resource to some degree.
So, as I was looking at faces, and I understand that then this is a done deal and nothing that we can say or do or whatever is going to change the fact that Williamsburg will be closed. As far as the library board is concerned,
The building has been rented. The decision is made to consolidate branches at Moore Hill. I think you earlier alluded to the politicians, and I've been hearing political jokes for the last 13 years. So I did hear what you said. The important thing to realize is the politicians. It's important to hear what you have to say, but it's also good to make smart decisions on their behalf too.
and you know something? By golly, I read a lot of TV, and like I told you, I know a lot of politicians. I remember, and excuse me for all conservatives in here, I used to be one, and sometimes am now, but I remember the good old days when Mike Harris said amalgamation is a great idea. And how did that work out for everybody? Right now in the States, you have 3 big scandals going on, and all the reporters are sitting there saying, I wonder why it took so long for people to figure out that Benghazi was an Al-Qaeda attack. Wow! Who knew? You got Mike Duffy back in Ottawa right now that owes the government $99,000. Somebody paid it off for him.
Somebody paid it on. Chief of Staff of Harper.
Probably. I shouldn't
No,
say
it
that.
was. It was.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, but my point is that, yes, what you observed was you people are going to have to face the public at some point in time. And not to make fun of everything that's going on in the world or in Ottawa or anything else, but the point is that this is a small community. Morrisburg has lost a lot. In my experience, Morrisburg has lost a lot. Now I see Williamsburg. They lost Canadian Tire. Basically, they lost a little theater that they used to have back there. Now they're losing their library. Basically, what you have is a restaurant and a really good store if you want to buy the best meat around. So, and to deprive, this is what is outrageous. We can laugh and joke about politicians all we want, and it's really not fun. But as to me, if you're depriving even one kid the opportunity to walk into a library and give his little card and pick up a book and take it home to mommy or daddy, or walk out the door with mommy and daddy and learn how to read and be literate and be able to watch TV and know what's going on, or to pick up the newspaper and read and see what's going on, then you are really, like, get over yourselves. Get over the money. Somebody around here can find $50,000. Phone Mike Duffy if you want $50,000. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to make fun of this, but it isn't funny. You're depriving children, kids, that, as this lady said, I mean, I have a computer at home, it's not hooked up. $50 a month is too much for me. I can watch my TV and whatnot, and I'm not computer literate anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference. But the point is that some of these kids, children, to me, books are so important to children. And if you think, go home and take a look at your own kids or grandchildren or whatever, and think of them without the possibility of picking up a book and taking a look at it and going to the library, making it a friendly. We don't have to have the state of the art. All we have to have is a serviceable building that will let a kid walk in or child walk in and pick up a book. Everybody's happy.
I promise.
And I mean, I don't, and it's very sorry, excuse me, but I just think you should revisit. There's nothing wrong in saying, okay, you know, maybe we could do this in 15 years, whatever. But sometimes when we go to enhance something, to use the word enhancement, I don't see any enhancement here. I see deprivation for the children and for the adults, for the seniors, for everybody in Williamsburg. I don't see much enhancement here.
I agree, and I think when the library board made their decision, they maybe didn't know all of this, didn't know the community, the fact that there are people out there without internet that rely on the library.
Or they didn't care.
You know, I don't think they knew, and you know, you've listened to us all, and I really hope that, you know, you realize that how important it is.
Should have,
They
prior
should
to,
yes,
prior to the board making this decision,
talk to the community.
the communities should have been evaluated. And that's what didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that because you're new and Erica is new, you're not familiar enough with the communities to be able to give probably advice.
And if we had come to you and said, well, we've got to really tighten our belts, we're thinking about closing the library in Williamsburg. What do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I
No, you could have did a survey. How many people have internet? How many people, you know, how many times do you borrow books, you know, from the library? I have a question. How many people here have ever went to the library, your local small library, taking your children or taking your grandchildren, or remember going to the library as a child? You guys go to a library, local library?
I've always gone to the library.
Yeah.
Of course. So now you're taking it away from my kids. I don't know, I enjoy it. I don't know about you, but I enjoy taking my kids to a local library, not driving, 15 minutes.
Eventually, those kids can go by themselves. They don't have to be with mom and dad all the time.
A new facility for people.
But they'll have to do
And I think that people are more important than, and the people in Williamsburg have come out and said that they don't want to lose that resource. And that resource is very important to all of us. And I think that, I'm not pointing a finger at you, I'm just speaking at you because you're the person in front of me.
Standing up here in the front.
No, because you're standing in front. But I think that everyone has to realize that, yes, and I do understand that if there had been a meeting, you don't want to have meetings because you just want to close them so you don't have this kind of situation. But people matter. Furniture doesn't matter. All the other crap doesn't matter. But people matter. Communities matter. Libraries matter. You take that library away and you so negatively affect that community, I can't express it. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart.
It's kind of sad to see there's nobody, I don't know how many people here are actually from Morrisburg that want to see the new what is it called, Showplace Library or Showpiece Library?
Showcase.
Showcase. Nobody in Morrisburg really is interested to see what's coming their way. So, you're going after these non-users, at the cost of the users that currently use it and are passionate and need it. Young families.
For the users.
I appreciate hearing everything that you have to say, and the board appreciates hearing everything you have to say as well.
I get it.
These decisions have been very much considered. I think there's probably still room for careful consideration on our part, certainly in what kinds of services we can offer you. I want to let you know, madam, before you leave, I give you my promise. This is my personal promise. as a children's librarian, as a mother, I will not let the children of Williamsburg be bereft of books.
You can't, really. I mean,
How?
The kids can't pick them out on the internet was our point. They need to look through them, pull them off the shelf.
You know what? If I have to donate my little red wagon from my home filled with children's books, I will do that. If that's what I have to do, I will do that.
but that's not realistic, though. And certain individuals in this room are highly educated and have a vast amount of experience when it comes to this. I personally, I've been in politics. Okay, I was up north 5 years. Someone says, "What? North Bay?" I said, "No, in the Baffin area." And you name it, I was there. Okay, yes, I know quite well, back of my head. I was elected locally for the Board of Education up there. They didn't have books. The only books they had were the books they could get from the South. Then I was elected as vice chairman of the Baffin Division Board. We initiated them printing their own books to reflect their culture. And you've got a resource here that people strive for, and I understand the politics of it. That's what amalgamation is. It's a cost-saving initiative. We got to stay alive. But I don't see it in this case. You're going to lose these people, and you're going to lose their kids. It's a waste. It's not a good decision. It's not totally yours. It's also the council. They have a responsibility. I understand that. They don't want an empty building. So they need to generate some form of revenue from an empty building. I understand that. But it should have been taken into consideration that this is a resource within a community. Otherwise, the community is done. All these small communities are done. They'll become Kempville of the future, and it doesn't work. That's only my opinion. But